What's up, my fellow spooky folks? It's the Man of Horror and the 2023 Face of Horror winner, Troy Ryan. Today I want to do a video on a segment that I did back in season 1 of Man of Horror titled Pick Your Horror. The idea is I pit two different horror titans against each other and let them battle it out, right? For my own thoughts and ideas of how I think they would actually, or how the fight might actually go. But before I get to that round, I have 3 different rounds based on 6 different horror characters who battle it out amongst themselves to see who will win our fight against the winner of the Titan battle. So, today I wanted to do a pretty fun one, all black horror. Let's get into it. Let's introduce our 6 characters. First, we have Nia Charms from the first Purge. Second, we have M from Nope. Third, we have Addie from Us. Fourth, we have Rita from Vampire in Brooklyn. Fifth, we have Cynthia from Bones. And then finally, 6th, Anne-Marie from Candyman. Let's get into it. Alright, so in the first round, let's do Nia versus M. I think this is a pretty good matchup, right? They're both very talkative characters, very opinionated, and both of their films are based on antagonists that they essentially had to try and that are bigger than them, and that they had to try and mostly evade. Nia went against mercenaries and purgers, and then M went against a fucking alien, which actually brings me to why I think M is gonna win. She fought an alien, evaded, and fought against an alien. I mean, like, it just depends on how it comes down, though, because Nia seems like she would do better hand to hand, right? I don't know. I'm going to give this round to M. Yeah. Round 2. Addie versus Rita. I feel interesting about this one because Addie is essentially a clone, right? And she is pretty effective at fighting. But Rita becomes a vampire. It has a connection with like Black Dracula. I don't really remember his name in the film, but essentially that's the fucking idea, Black Dracula. But either way, I don't know. Rita feels more supernatural, and she's a police officer. It seems like she would have more combat experience. So, kind of similar to the last round, depending on what it comes down to, as far as like hand-to-hand combat or like, well, I don't know, because Addie did pretty well. I'm gonna give it to Rita. She becomes a fucking vampire for a second. So, yeah, power is over none. Round 3, we have Cynthia versus Anne-Marie. This one it almost feels like a battle of ages, right? Like Anne-Marie is clearly older and technically didn't fight Candyman, right? Like she battled his name, and then fought against the idea of him and fought against Helen a little bit, but she never necessarily fought Candyman. Whereas Cynthia, well, no, she didn't fight. She didn't really fight Bones either because it was her dad. Like she begged him not to do anything to like the guy. I remember the scene. She's like, "Daddy, stop," But like there was no moment where he tried to like actively, that makes this a really interesting round. But I'm gonna go with, like I just said, powers over none. Cynthia. Cynthia is she has the gift. Her mom is like, the parent character is like psychic and it passes down, and so she already lets her know like she has it, and she displays it a little bit, but she just hasn't fully accepted it. But essentially, in this, like if she allowed herself to, she'd take it. All right, so that gives us 3 winners before we get to round 4, which is going to be all 3 of them battling it out. um, that gives us M versus Rita versus Cynthia. Um, yeah, let's get into it. I think the first one to be knocked out of this, will be M. And again, I have to say it, powers over none. You have Rita, who is essentially, and even before the vampire thing, she had the connection, the link. So she still had some kind of psychic ability, which leads me over to Cynthia. Again, psychic ability. And it's just a girl, or just a woman. Not to say this. Powers over none. So she be knocked out first. Now, secondly, I give Cynthia the boot. Cynthia versus Rita. It's fucking Angela Bassett, right? But even more so than that, Cynthia was more timid than Rita's character. Rita's a police officer again, and she's a fighter. You see those fucking arms? I mean, it's Angela Bassett, but like, did you see the arms? And again, Cynthia hasn't accepted her powers. She's very timid, and she's just young. She's really, really young. I think her character's like 19 or something. So she's out. So that leaves us with Rita being the winner, and now we head over to the last two rounds. And now we have the Titan battle. Candyman versus Jimmy Bones. I ooh, I believe, because this is both a very afterlife ghost haunted kind of thing, right? Candyman died. You call his name 5 times, he's there. Bones is, and now as I'm thinking about it, I think that's why Candyman might win. Candyman is more of a universal killer. He can be anywhere. It just depends on where you call him. Bones is secluded to that house. He stayed at, the mansion or whatever that he died in, and that was where he got you. Once you came to the house, it was over. And I think at the end, the idea was that it passed on, but we never got a follow up or any confirmation on that. So with that in mind, as long as you stay away from the house, I mean, it's very simple for both. As long as you don't fucking say Candyman's name. But with this one, because there's a little bit less of a control there, like often people get killed who didn't even call him, but they're just fucking there. Bones, again, just don't go to the fucking house. And for that reason alone, that makes him more easily evadable, right? As far as actual battle prowess and like powers and shit, Bones got, like, Jimmy Bones seems to have more of a magical ability than Candyman, but I just think Candyman would slash him the fuck up. Like, that's it, you know what I'm saying? Right through his body, whole ass hook, just yeah. I'm gonna give it to Candyman. Yeah. So then now that leads us to the very, very, very final round: Candyman versus Rita. Oh, I think. I mean, she beat a vampire, and she's strong, you know. But then, like, okay, so why I'm struggling is because I can see Candyman also seducing her. There's always that seduction thing that he has, and she clearly was, seduced by a vampire, so she can fall into that seduction cycle. Um, well, maybe. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Rita will beat him. Clearly, she's a final girl, so she has the capacity to be that here, and more so after this case, she actually would be more, I think, at this point, uh, what's the word? Immune to the charms of Candyman. So she would just look at him like, yeah, all right, whatever. All right, so that leads us to our final winner, which is Rita from Vampire Brooklyn. I'm not mad at that. It's Angela Bassett. She deserves So, if you guys have any ideas of some different battles or Horror Titan battles that we can do, definitely let me know. Email me at trigger514@icloud.com. Don't forget to follow the official Instagram page for the pod, metaphor_podcast. And until next time, stay spooky, folks. Peace.